Hello, it's your girl Carol. I'm back again today with another video, and today I'm going to talk about the personal experience. And yeah, it's not going to be a funny one, but kind of a little bit emotional. Yeah, but yeah, I decided to share this with you to encourage somebody out there, or just maybe, yeah, to put it there for somebody to know what women go through or people go through. So by the way, if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know, should I ring the bells? Yes, I'll be doing that soon. But if please you haven't subscribed, please go do that, and then yeah, support your girl. So as I say, today I'm going to do a story time, and this one is about my first child. So a lot of people don't know, yeah, you possibly don't know, but then in a few minutes you'll be knowing, so please stay tuned. My first child was a premature baby, very premature baby. Premature, I mean, the due date was not there and he was already born, you know. So out of the 40 to 42 weeks, he came on the 30 going to 31 weeks. So you can see those are 12 weeks that are missing. Yeah, but it was a long way until we got there. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you the story how it went down. So by the way, he's now turning 7 next month. Not really next month, on the July, on July. Yeah, and yeah, so far so good. He's grown good. He has some problems here and there, but not that immense like somebody might have thought, or maybe, you know, because when you are in this situation, when you get a premature baby, you don't know how they are going to uh, 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 to go on with themselves. The growing up, you don't know how their milestones are going to be like, you know. So you just go with it, you know. So as I said, he was born on the 30 going to 31 weeks. So he was super tiny. He just weighed like he weighed 1,780 grams. Can you imagine that? So it was not even 2 kilos. It was 1,780 grams. And those children, when they come out, they also lose weight. So he was born today, and after some 2 days he lost almost 500 grams. So you can imagine, from 1,700 minus 500 grams, you're remaining with, let's do the math, 1,200 grams. So anyway, I got pregnant when I was still living in Düsseldorf. Now I live in Bremen. So if anything, I had a severe hyperemesis gravidarum from the start, like from the day I knew I'm pregnant. I was practically sick, throwing up everything, even my saliva. I could not get it down. It was so bad. So when I got pregnant with him, I was still doing my first Ausbildung, like my first yeah, as I said, Ausbildung. So it was towards the end, towards the examination, and I was like, I had some weeks to go sit for exam, but here I am throwing up like nobody's business, you know. So yeah, I had to figure out how I'm going to go about that. I even had some practicals to do, and I had to keep quiet about this, not to tell them, because if I had told them, they would have kept me away from doing the practical exam. So I just chilled and waited until I did my practical exam. And then after that, even after that, I didn't want to tell them, because I knew if I told them, they could maybe come with an idea that I'm not allowed to do exams or something, because I was not in a good state at that time. So it went on like that, and at some point they had to take me to hospital because I was doing bad. I was doing bad. I was just losing kilos. I was weighing like just 58 kilos, and for me, the lowest I weigh is 60. And if I'm 60 without eating, without doing anything, I look really bad, like, ooh. Yeah, so I had to go to hospital, to be hospitalized like for 3-4 weeks. And this time I was like, this week and then tomorrow is already the exam, not the practical, but the monthly, the one you go and explain to them some about a theme, and they ask you questions about it and you explain it. So this particular day, I'm in hospital. I'm telling the doctor I have to sit for my exam next week, and the doctor is like looking at me thinking like, this African woman is mad. How are you going to sit for exam when you look like this? But I was determined to go sit for my exam, you know. So I decided to discharge myself. I went back home and went on Monday to sit for my exam. So I come in, and this woman, I mean the teacher, she just looked at me and she was like, Carol, what is wrong with you? I said, no, I'm not feeling well. And then she looked at me again and she said, yes, you're not feeling well and you look like that. That's why I'm going to send you home now, because I'm not going to allow you to sit for any exam looking like that. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so as she said, she sent me home. So I was sent home, and I had to go to the doctor and let them write me a letter that says I'm not in a position to do this exam. So in this case, I went to my gyn, and she had to write for me that I'm pregnant. I didn't want to tell anybody, but it had to come down. But thanks God, I had already done my practical. So the other ones was just this talking one, and the one you put on paper. So I had to apply for this exam again. So I had to sit for it. I sat for it like some 4 weeks after the others have already done it. So I did it alone. So yeah, I passed anyway. So it was not a bad idea. Okay, I don't think it was a good idea, because I had to overstay in Dusseldorf according to my plans, because I wanted, at that time I was planning to move to Bremen to my husband, and to this plan according to I can't speak no more. Let me put me together. Okay, so what I was trying to say is, it's changed my plan, the way I planned it, because I was like, then and then I'm going to finish this exam, and when I finish, I'm going to relocate to Bremen, you know. So by this time I did not finish. I had then to stay longer in Dusseldorf, like for 4 weeks, to get to do this exam, and then these 4 weeks you have to study again. And I was not feeling like it, but sometimes you have to take life the way it comes, you know, just go through it and live. So I at this time I was still not doing that good, but I was at least better. I was not throwing up that much, but at least I could eat something, and that something could stay inside. So yeah, and then when I finished the exams, I moved on to Bremen. So after I moved, it then started with contractions, premature contractions. By that time I was like 20 weeks there, 20 22 weeks, it's just done premature contractions. I was almost every 2 weeks in the hospital with premature contractions. At some point I went to the hospital and they were giving me this drip to control the contractions, like to slow them down or to just put them up. And then this lady like kind of overdosed me, and that was for 1 minute just away. I was just gone for 1 minute, and my husband was all crazy. He just pulled all the syringes and put them out. And before he called the doctor, he was just, at this day he's never forgotten it until today. He's like, are they trying to kill you for me or something like that? Yeah. So after all that time, then at some point I could go home like for 1 week. Then the second week I went back to hospital. 1 week, second week to hospital. So at long last, on the 30th, no, on the 28th week, it came again the premature contractions. Then I went back to hospital, and yeah, they say they're going to keep me there for as long as it's going to take, because they have to try and keep that baby inside, because as 28 weeks is still super tiny, and the chances that baby will live is very low when they are under 30 weeks, you know. So that's why they were trying to keep it inside by any means. So I had to stay there in hospital for all that time. And yeah, I stayed the 28th week, the 29th, and then at the beginning of the 30th week it got worse, and my uterus was opening already. And yeah, at this point they were like, what are we going to do? We have to stop this because it's too early. And I was just getting shots here and there, shots to make sure that the lungs of the baby being helped to get ripe, like to get ready to come out. Like I was getting shots here, shots there, a drip, yeah. So there was this night, it got worse. Like I had serious contractions. So they were like, whoa, we think this baby might come today, so we have to transfer you to another hospital where they have capacity to keep premature babies, because at this hospital we don't have no capacity no more for premature babies. So guess what happened? They had to transfer me middle of the night from one state to another. Like they transferred me from Bremen to Oldenburg. It's like 1 hour drive. Yeah, actually 1 hour drive from Bremen. So yeah, they took me there with an ambulance, of course. And yeah, I was now in this hospital. Thanks God that day nothing happened. They gave me something and I just slept off. I woke up the next day, and yeah, I was doing a little bit better, but still on this drip. So I could stay there. I had bed rest. It was just hospital. Remember this time we didn't have a car yet, and I was in another state, my husband in another state, and I don't have no mother here. I don't have no sister. I don't have nobody. I was like alone, and my mother-in-law she's not the youngest, so she was not in a position to come visit me, because she has already given up her driving license and she can't drive, and it's a little bit far. And then she was like, I'm sorry, but I can't come visit you. I was so depressed. Like, you see, these moments, you just need somebody beside you. I mean, family or something like that. But yeah, there was no much, but I could just take my phone. I didn't care how much it's going to cost me, but I was calling my mother almost every day, every minute. I feel like, oh, this is happening. I call my mother, you know. Yeah. So I stayed there for that week, and then I don't know how long. It's almost 29. Yeah, I think I stayed there for a week, then a week and a half, and then during that halfway, there was this day I woke up in the morning with a very high fever. Like I was having fever 41. I was shaking. They call it shuttle frost. This yeah, literally shaking. Like I was just sick, you know. So they rushed me fast to the king, and this woman looks at me. she checks the baby, she says the baby is okay, but the baby is under distress. So the thing we're going to do is we are going to do not Kaiserschnitt. We are going to operate you. We have to operate you. There's no any option. This time, as I say, it was I was just 31 plus 1. Yes, like it was still too early, and I was not ready for this. And I was 23, going to 24 years, and my first time. So I was unexperienced. I didn't know what's going to face me. I was having anxiety, and I had fears to go through an operation. So at first I didn't want to sign papers for the operation, and when I think about it today, I was like, I was stupid. But yeah, like when you're just in that situation, sometimes you don't think. So they had to call my husband to tell him to convince me to sign this paper. So they called him, and my husband was like, yeah, go ahead, do that, it's important, you don't want our baby to die inside you, and so yeah, okay, I did that anyway. And they took me to the operation room, and they gave me this shot on the spinal cord where you only get like limb on the lower side. And I was there when the baby was coming. I heard him cry for a second, and then yeah, they took him away. They had to give him oxygen and that. So yeah, the operation went well actually. And when I was taken back to the station, inpatient station, so I was there, and at some point my husband came, and they saw the baby, and the baby was taken to this premature station, right? So yeah, and so I sit down, I slept that day, and then the day after that, tomorrow, I woke up 6 o'clock. I was woken up at 6 o'clock by this woman, doctor, and she comes to me telling me that she has some bad news for me. So put yourself in my shoe. You're having this super premature baby, and there comes this woman at 6 o'clock in the morning telling you she has bad news for you. What comes in your mind? Think about it. What comes in your mind? You know exactly. Yeah. By the way, are you still watching? So if you have not subscribed, go do that, please. Yeah. Okay, right? Thank you. I got a biscuit from my daughter. Thank you. Yo. So and then she tells me he stopped breathing this night, so we had to reanimate. I can't pronounce that word. To reanimate him in the night. So if you go up there, don't be scared. He has all these pipes and oxygen. So that was the bad news. And I was like, what the? But I was like, yeah, okay, nothing bad. But it's bad, but at that time you were like, yo, nothing bad. So yeah, I went, and my baby was under all this mattress, super tiny in the incubator, and I don't even like what was that. It was so hard, so emotional, and yeah, I'm getting emotional right now. Sorry guys, I have to put myself together again. Yes, so so we had to stay in the hospital for almost 2 months. And then I remember very well, there was this day I used to live in some house just next to the hospital, where I had a room so that I could sleep there, and then during the night or during the day I could go over and help him feed, because at the very first time he could not feed by himself. He could not and have this power to suckle. So I had to pump breast milk and not give it to him, but he had these organs on them, this pipe where they put it through the mouth, the nose into the exactly, you know what I mean, into the stomach, so that you have to put in that milk through that pipe so that it can get into the stomach. So we had to help him like that. Yeah, and but at some point he could circle a little bit. At some point, after 1 month, I think, he could circle, and he could take the breast and circle by himself. But still, he had problems with breathing. So I remember very well. I remember this so vividly. There was one day we used to have like a timetable to come and breastfeed, or to come to give them milk. So I was like coming every day like 14, and then after 2 hours I come 16 o'clock. So I came that time in the evening. I don't remember if it was 16 or 14 actually. I came in and I'm going to my baby, and he had this monitor where they check the oxygen and so I go inside, and this monitor starts to peep. I look at it, and it's literally at 0. Yeah, I just stopped breathing. I just came in. So I immediately called the doctor, and they came, and they started giving him oxygen again. And yeah, you know, this moment, you as a mother sitting there, you seeing your child not breathing, and you always think the worst, you know. So yeah, those were my longest. It was 1 minute or two, 1.5 minutes, but that was, sorry guys, I told you to get a little bit emotional. It was, I guess, my longest 1 minute in my life. So thanks God, they cut that, and he was breathing again, and at least, yeah, he continued like that. So at this moment we had to wait until he can breathe himself without the help, or without stopping. So we had to wait all that time in the hospital for him to be able to breathe by himself without any help. So and also we had to wait until he gets to at least 3 kilos, so that we can go home. So yeah, we stayed there, as I say, for almost 2 months, and yeah, at long last, after 2 months, we were allowed to go home. And yeah, we took our baby and came home with him. So I'm going to do a part 2 of this, so please check on the part 2 to know more about how it went after that at home. So if you haven't subscribed, again, I see you. I don't know what you're waiting for. Please go to that, support your girl, and more is coming soon. Bye. See you in the next.